Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is Muhammad Nazim. I came from Tumpat, Kelantan. I went to SMK Wakaf Baru and from there on, I continued my study in Matriculation of Kelantan. My aspiration to study law is that I want to join the professional workforce in our country, and also I want to fulfill my dream of becoming a lawyer as a child. First of all, let us recap back the facts of the case. On 18 June, Andika made an offer to Atika to sell 3 album collections, to which the acceptance had to be made through WhatsApp. But Andika separately also advertised the items online on Shopee and Lazada, of which it was successfully sold. He tried to inform Atika about it but failed. On 19 June, Atika found out that her best friend has already purchased Andika's album and it was no longer available. But on 20th of June, she made a call to Andika to accept his offer, and she also claimed that he breached their contract for selling the albums to her best friend. Now let us advise Andika by discussing on the first issue, whether the offer made by Andika is successfully revoked. According to Section 43B of Contract Act 1950, the communication of revocation is complete for the offeree when the notice of revocation comes to the knowledge of the offeree. Also, in the Section 5(1) of Contract Act, an offer can be revoked any time before the acceptance by the offeree is complete, which is when it comes to the knowledge of the offerer. For example, in the case of Dickinson against Dutz, the defendant made a revocation of offer by communicating it through the fourth party, who is a friend to the plaintiff, before the plaintiff made an acceptance. After learning of this, the plaintiff made an acceptance. The court held that there was no binding contract between them because the communication of revocation does not have to come from the person who made it themselves, but it can also be from a friend or other party that is a reliable source. In current case, on 20th of June, Atika made a call to Andika to inform him of her acceptance to buy the album. However, the albums was already sold by Andika to Atika's best friend, in which Atika's best friend already told Atika of her album's purchase from Andika on 19 June, which is prior to the date of Atika's acceptance. Even though Andika had failed to inform Atika of the non-availability of the albums after it was already sold at first, Atika was already aware of the fact that the offer was no longer available from her best friend before she made the acceptance. Atika's best friend acts as a third party that communicates to Atika that the offer had been withdrawn. Therefore, the revocation of the offer made by Andika is valid. Now, let us move on to advise Atika by discussing on the second issue, whether the acceptance of the conditional offer made by Atika is valid. According to the Section 7, subsection B of the Contract Act 1950, it states that an acceptance must be expressed in some usual and reasonable manner unless the proposer prescribes the manner in which it is to be accepted. Thus, if there is a mode of acceptance prescribed by the offerer, it must be followed by the offeree in order to make a valid acceptance. For example, in the case of Compagnie de Commerce against Parkinson Stone, the defendant made an offer to the plaintiff to buy some steel, in which in the offer it was stated that the acceptance can only be notified through pre-printed form. The plaintiff accepted by letter but then decided to cancel it. The court held that there was no valid acceptance, therefore there was no binding contract. In application to this case, Andika made a conditional offer when he asked Atika to inform him of her acceptance only through WhatsApp before or on 20th of June. The condition of the offer here is that Atika can only accept the offer through WhatsApp, but later on, Atika failed to fulfill the condition precedent to the offer, which prescribed a specific mode of communication when she directly called Andika on the morning of 20th of June instead of through WhatsApp. Her acceptance was communicated through normal phone call and not WhatsApp. In conclusion, the acceptance made by Atika is invalid as it did not obey the condition precedent to the offer. Therefore, there was no contract at all between Atika and Andika. That will be all from me. Thank you for watching.